see the screen.
Now we're recording.
Cool.
Sure.
So,
Look, it shows the kilobytes in the. That's pretty neat. Real time.
Well, this is great. Great start.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of whatever we're calling this podcast.
We'll come up with a name.
We can just cut this part out.
I think I maybe peeked the mic there. Also,
no one is going to cut it out though.
No.
Anyways, Thor first.
Right.
All right. To the point.
You guys didn't like Thor's eye patch. I didn't care.
I didn't like Thor's eye patch.
I was pretty indifferent to it too. I didn't like it, but I
didn't think there was going to be something like repaired. Like he just like, and then was it like burned out or was it like just?
I thought it was cut.
I couldn't tell how it was gone.
Cut.
Like,
it was a real weird wound.
This was a very
because
specific topic to start on. I thought we were going to start on like the ethos of
yeah,
the
spoiler
movie,
alert. Jeez, Bradley.
But everyone go silent.
Yep. Dead air is.
Dead air.
I heard that's good.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Right.
You want to have nice dramatic pauses.
It's like yes, we all the confirmation noises.
So let's just go over. Did you like the movie?
Best movie ever, worst movie ever.
Yeah, basically that.
Every time we do something like this, Bradley immediately steals everything he can think of.
I have no creativity when it comes to these sort of things.
So you just like shamelessly rip it off. Listen, the old 0 to 10 scale, is
well, out of 10. What would you
have
give?
our unique scale. Out of 13.
Out of 13. Sure.
All right.
That's unlucky though.
Exactly.
Do whatever you want.
We'll give it 8 out of 13.
Okay.
Wow.
High praise.
I think. What's that transfer? That's like a 6.5.
Sure.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
So it was decent.
I'd probably give it a 9 out of 13. Yeah. Yeah. Just because it involved more Norse mythology than the other Thor movies, and I always thought that was something Thor movies
good,
needed.
Though.
How was it not good?
It felt like really, really weird.
Like, how was
rushed.
the Norse mythology aspect not good?
Like, I didn't think it was executed well.
Like, how, though? That's what I'm asking.
Like, it was just sort of shoehorned in. It felt second to the thing, to the movie.
Sure.
I guess it was like the two plots. Like that was like one of the main plots though was Ragnarok. And then the other was
but it wasn't.
Getting back to Asgard.
Like just at the very end. The whole movie is just getting back to Asgard.
But they cut back to Hela quite a bit in Asgard and following Heimdall as well.
And it's not even so much the plot, it's just like the fact that they use characters and stuff in Norse mythology.
I mean,
that's
sure.
Cool.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, they should. It's Thor, so it's kind of... It's sad that this is a good thing about the movie. Because it should just be a normal thing about the movie.
Yeah, you would think that they would have
literally
involved
just
stuff
Norse
like
mythology.
this in a previous Thor movie, but they really didn't.
The first one was just like... He wasn't even Thor for a lot of it.
No, he wasn't Thor for most of it, and like they didn't really do much in Thor 1.
No, and then Thor 2 was... Well, it's Thor 2.
No one remembers
something
what happened in that
elves,
movie. Loki dies, quote unquote.
Yeah, sort of.
He's Odin.
And... Think about what was it, the bat?
The bat?
no, what was it, the Ballad of Loki or whatever it was?
Oh, yeah, with Matt Damon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why was Matt Damon in it? Just because? Because I felt like I was out of an inside joke.
I'm pretty sure the kid behind us said that, too. It was like...
It's Matt Damon.
It's Matt Damon!
He was real excited about all the people he knew.
Yeah, he sure was. I thought that they were going to draw that out more. Like the whole... Because they teased that at the end of Thor 2. That Loki was...
Yeah, it was just sort of like... That's
he solved it immediately.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a thing.
And Loki, like, gives up, like, right away, too.
Yeah,
he just threatens him once, which I guess is kind of in character for Loki, but... He threatens him once, and he's just like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, I really expected that to take
the ruse
longer
is up.
to resolve. But, I mean, I guess... the one thing I wanted to see more of was what Thor has been doing up to this point.
Yeah.
Like,
it sounds like he's been traveling a lot.
Right, yeah, because he says at the beginning, he's talking to the skeleton, and he's like, oh, I went on all these adventures, and I ended up here. It's like, we should probably see that, instead of you just talking to a skeleton about it, you know?
There was a bunch of...
I did kind of like that, though. Of all the jokes,
sure.
I thought that was...
The joke was fine, but, like, would you have not wanted to see that?
Oh, yeah, but
every
movie ever, like, alludes to a better off-screen adventure.
Sure, yeah.
I agree, though. That would have been pretty funny to watch him. Not even funny, just, like, interesting to watch him go about his
Because he's like
His
he's
Thor
the one
and-
who's like grew up with warriors and stuff, so he's like the most like cool with all of the avenging and stuff.
Sure.
Which they immediately kill like all of the warriors.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, that felt unnecessary, right?
Yeah, because we haven't. They were kind
that-
of in 2, I think.
Yeah, they were in 2. They were like
They were
hanging
pretty
around with,
big deal in
They
2.
were hanging out with Thor, and they were like flying around on the speeder bikes.
Yeah, they help him escape.
Yeah.
I'm slowly remembering
Yeah.
what happened in 2. But that was weird. They
Was
just
Sif
killed
one
him.
of those? I don't think she was.
Well, it's the Lady 3 and Sif. So they're
The Lady 3 and Sif.
The Warriors
Heard it here
3.
first, folks.
and Lady Sif. The Warriors 3.
Why isn't she part of the Warriors? 3?
She's a
Because
woman.
she's the 4th, so they can't be the Warriors 3 if there's 4 of them.
So they're the
Why-
Warriors 3 plus
do you know,
1.
Do you know any of the other Warrior 3 names? Any of their names?
The Asian one with the beard and the one that looks like Robin Hood.
Exactly. So if any one of those guys had a tragic accident and there were still 3 of them and one of them was Sif, would anybody notice?
No.
Probably not.
I don't.
So, but yeah, I thought it was weird that they. I guess it was okay that they killed him. I mean, fan favorite characters and all. Robin Hood guy,
Fandral-
Asian
As
guy.
soon as Thanos destroys
Hogan?
the universe,
They come back to life.
everything's gonna be reset at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh, that's how Thor gets his eye back, probably.
Probably, yeah.
He uses the reality gem.
Yeah.
Which one is the reality gem? Is that the one?
The
How
colors
how
are
do
all
they
switched
work?
around
Well, the
from
colors
the
are
comics,
switched
so-
around, but I'm pretty sure that they have canonical. The only one that's not accounted for is the Soul Gem,
Which
right?
is in the probably
Within
Black Panther.
Big Black Panther.
'Cause
I almost said
the soul
Pink Pan-
music.
I was gonna say Pink Panther because the Soul Gem is pink.
Yes, let's see. I'm trying to think which one it is now. Dang it.
The Tesseract is space, right?
No, it's the mind. No,
What?
it's his staff.
Tesseract is
the,
space.
Loki's staff is
Yeah,
the mind.
the one,
yeah.
the Vision head one is mind.
The
The-
Tesseract is space.
Yeah, Aether is power.
No, the purple one is power.
Why? That seems wrong. What is Aether? What is Aether?
What was it? What was the one we were missing that we were talking about?
Reality.
Yeah, I think
That
it was
one's reality?
I think the Aether's reality.
Okay, sure.
I think Aether's reality.
And then-
Mind is the Eye of Agamotto.
The
Or
time,
time.
yeah.
Time is Agamotto.
Okay. We're missing one, aren't we?
Soul.
No. Are we missing
we got
another
them
one?
all.
We got them all? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad we settled that.
Yes.
They also settled what the Infinity Gauntlet was doing in Asgard.
It was a fake, you mean?
Yeah. Because it was just supposed to be like a Easter egg.
Yeah, they
in
had to
Thor
retcon
1.
that.
Yeah, but
I
then
was
they
reading an
realized that
article
they
about it
were
before the movie came out. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had to retcon that
Yeah.
because it didn't make any sense.
right.
But
Because
they're different. They're on opposite hands, though. So you can have one, and the other can be in Asgard.
But how does that work?
There was gems on it and everything too, so
But would you have 6
was it?
more Infinity Gems?
yeah, exactly.
For that
And
hand.
you
Gems
just
can
like
be fake.
you'd have like half and half.
Yes.
Do
Interesting.
you think in your head canon the glove would be real and the gems would be fake?
I don't care.
Does the glove do anything? I thought that the glove.
I think it's just a holder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
To be
glove
fair,
has some power by itself. I don't know
It
what.
does.
Ooh.
It does.
Okay.
But it mostly channels the gems, really.
Okay. What does the glove do by itself?
I just said I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you.
They just well, obviously it grants the wielder power to control the gems.
You can't do that normally.
Well, like how
Well, they
Like if the Guardians
clearly
it's like the Guardians
control
of the
them
Galaxy
individually.
well,
style.
some
so-
people can, but like
But like
Oh,
Red's,
but
like
like
you
what?
get Red Skulled if you try to handle it without the gauntlet.
that or like how one person blew up when they tried to touch the power.
Like the
when
Guardians
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So that
Right. But like
Also-
some of them you can touch and it doesn't hurt. you.
basically some people can touch them, some people can't. Some
Like-
of them can be touched, some of them
The
can't.
Aether touched
Comic books.
Thor's Padme. She touched the Aether, right? And it didn't kill her. Right?
yeah.
How does that work?
Well, all of them together. This is I understand. Is all of them together like overwhelm, like just like
Their power is compounded.
Yes, the
and it
power-
would overwhelm even somebody as powerful as Thanos
Yes.
if he were to handle all 5 of them without the gauntlet.
all 6.
Sure.
Yes, all 6.
Yeah, it's without the gauntlet
Yep. True story.
Right.
because you can just do anything. So the gauntlet.
You could just do anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could you make what if you made it so that you could handle them without the gauntlet?
I think they're like God, where they can't contradict themselves.
Okay. comic books.
Comic books, yes. They only work in their own reality.
What about Jeff Goldblum? What do you think about Jeff Goldblum?
Pretty old.
Yeah, yes, he was very old. He
I thought it was
like
fine.
Too over the top, like.
I thought that the writing was a little
the writing.
ham-fisted for him, but I thought that the idea was good.
I think that his character was supposed to be like oblivious, like so rich that he was oblivious to that fact.
But like the writing in terms of like,
I agree.
jokes,
I agree with you. I'm just saying,
like how he kept correcting people. I felt a bit, a bit much. But I just felt like there was too many subplots. And also that because they kept introducing all these characters, like halfway through the movie.
I thought it was like the fight was going to start. It took way too long to get to.
To
get to the arena.
And they spoiled it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which spoiled a lot in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which is weird because there was a lot of stuff that was in the trailer that wasn't in the movie.
Like what?
Like, I know for sure some of, like, the fighting in the street stuff was not.
Oh, sure.
There was, like, a whole scene where Loki
there's
was, like,
scene
fighting
with,
and,
he
flips the
knives.
I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool.
Where,
Never in the movie, so.
When Hela destroys...
When
Hela destroys his hammer...
No, I was saying this because we're probably vibrating the mic.
Yes, but when Hela destroys the hammer, the background in the trailer is like a city background, but it's just
that was the other one.
Okay.
But it was destroyed in the field.
Which was like it was weird.
Okay.
I liked Thor's thunder powers.
His avatar state.
His avatar state, yeah.
I did like it. My favorite was when he did that one like spiral move.
Yeah.
They really liked that because they have him do that earlier too, like do a spiral.
I thought that's how he was going to get his eye back. He was going to go avatar state and it was just going to lightning out.
I was kind of waiting for his eye to pop out.
It's like, now I see the world as it is in lightning.
But he only has an eye when he's in his avatar state.
Yeah. That would, comic books.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did like that, his avatar state.
How does he work without his hammer now, though? Does he get his hammer back ever?
They just reforge it or something.
I think in the comics when he loses his hammer...
Well, sure, not in the comics.
But yes, he has an axe.
He has an axe.
Yes. And in some of the promotional art...
Can he fly with it?
Probably. It's just him throwing it.
Okay.
Does it come back to him? Can he hold his hand out?
I don't know.
So can it only...
You know what would be cool if they reforge an axe out of Mjolnir? That would be...
Oh.
That would be interesting.
It's like, we made you an axe. And he's like, sweet.
They have reforged his axe his hammer a couple of times.
Into what? It's just a hammer?
Back into their hammer.
Okay.
But in the promotional art for Infinity War, him and Captain America are in a picture, and he's holding like a handle of a weapon, and the rest of it goes off.
Is that the one with bearded Captain America?
Yeah. No, I think this one wasn't bearded yet.
This was not bearded Captain America.
Yeah, it was before that.
Pre-beard or post-beard?
He's holding a handle of a weapon, and then this is not Mjolnir. It's like, looks like it'd be an axe or something big.
Okay. Right.
It was weird to see him hold giant weapons like what the Hulk was using.
Yeah.
Like,
that felt very like Mega Blocksy.
Yeah, it felt like it was weird.
It was,
like,
yeah.
Like it makes sense because he's strong enough
Sure.
to.
It just looks weird.
It just looks like weird to see.
Part of that is also the CGI wasn't very good, and so he was obviously not holding anything really. Not nothing, but not something of that size.
What about the new characters? Like, what did you think about them?
I don't care.
Okay, I mean,
That's it.
Yeah.
I like the Valkyrie armor.
I like the armor.
Yeah, their armor was cool.
As a character, she was kind of cliche and boring.
I didn't really like how they shoehorned in her having her armor again in the end. That was kind of
why she has.
I get
she
that he's
has
a
her
collector.
Sword. Like she shows him his her
She
sword.
kept at least part of her
Why
outfit.
didn't she
Why
have
was
the
she not wearing?
uniform?
Was she not wearing clothes when she escaped?
Okay.
Well, she obviously
Well-
escaped and had them on whatever the planet's name I forgot.
So you're saying that
Axis
those were
Prime.
hers?
What?
Like the clothes that he brings her were hers?
Yeah, that
I don't think so.
stored. Yeah.
What?
Because
She
was surprised by
He found
it.
them in the armory, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I thought it was like she put them.
She put them in the armory.
No. He's like I got these for you out of the armory.
It was the Game Master's armory, wasn't it? Or was it?
I thought it was. That was after. Maybe he was referring to the Game Master's armory.
That's
I
what
thought he was referring to the Asgardian armory.
I thought he was referring to the Game Master armory, like she put it there when she landed there. Like I don't want to see it anymore.
Okay.
And he got it.
See, I'm gonna go. I thought it was the Game Master's armory, but it was just like sheer coincidence. I didn't think it was actually her.
That was a different Valkyrie armor.
No. Because she doesn't act like she expected it. She's just like, oh, sick. She's not like, oh, thank you for bringing me my clothes. Well, she's just like,
but if she's been there for a while, she would have either forgotten or just not cared about it.
Well, she was trying to put it behind. He was trying to put her past behind her. So.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Drink herself to
in
death.
some sort of ham-fisted attempt at character development.
Yeah, that was real weak. Her character development.
Here's a question: why couldn't they escape Raxus Prime with her ship?
I'm kind of disappointed you didn't say Devil's Anus because.
Was this not shielded?
Did they ever say that?
That's what
they said that there was something. They had to have a certain ship. And there was only like 3 or something
at
all.
The strain on the ship was the strain on the Devil's Anus was too strong for any other than
They did say
ships.
that, yeah.
They did?
Yes,
they did.
that was when they were in the room together. They're like there's only 2 or whatever on the planet that we can use.
Xandar,
and then
16 months to get to.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's when Loki pipes up and he's like, "Oh, we can get into his ships because he has fancy ships because obviously he basically owns the planet." So,
right. Okay. Case closed.
Case done.
What else is there?
The comedy, we haven't talked about the comedy, which is a big part of it.
No,
it's for the best.
Sure was. Some may say it was a little too much.
Again, it was they were going for quantity over quality. There were some good jokes, but there's a lot that missed. Like you said, more were funny than in Guardians of the Galaxy, but there were more jokes overall too.
It was just way too much like Guardians of the Galaxy. It was very Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's becoming the universe is getting too wacky. It's like not taking itself seriously anymore. Yeah. Which, I mean, part of that is fine because I don't want it to be darker.
Yeah, because I was going to say, we don't want Justice League and you don't want super dark, but they're going the opposite direction.
Besides CGI, I like the design of how it looked in this one.
Like the design of
the world and...
Of the world? See, I was going to say I didn't like the design of the world.
I like CGI, being not necessarily being the best. I liked... Like Hulk's room, I liked Hulk's room.
Okay, I was going to criticize the sort of aesthetic of that planet for being too colorful because it was a junk planet.
I liked it being colorful because it was a junk planet.
Why? It's a junk planet.
Well, I guess it could have been less it should have been a lot of colors, and necessarily wouldn't have been so bright of colors.
Sure, it should just be brown. It's a junk planet.
I feel like we would complain if it was just brown, though, and you'd be like, "Oh, the junk planets are brown." That seems like something. You would complain about.
Everything ends up a massive variety of things would end up there. Obviously,
it would rust over and it would turn brown and it would look brown.
Okay, fine.
this metal it doesn't rust.
Also, the ship designs are terrible.
What, you don't like a circle?
Nobody knows how to make ships
in the middle
anymore. How come everything is just a box? It hooks up to other asymmetrical,
everything is very asymmetrical.
Or it's just a circle. Is that what ships are now? Can anybody make a ship that doesn't look like that?
No.
Or swarms. Swarm ships are super popular right now too. Mm-hmm. There was the Guardians 1 had swarm ships.
Guardians 2 had
swarm ships. Star Trek Beyond had swarm ships.
Those are the worst swarm ships.
Yeah. With somehow the most time devoted to explanation, too.
Guardians of the Galaxy had swarm ship. The second one had...
That's what we said.
We just said
Did that. You say that? I blanked out for a little bit there.
We did both, yeah.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, swarm ships.
I hated those, though.
Ranking the swarm ships worst to best.
Okay, I would say...
There others that were missing besides those 3.
There was the one from that one episode of Star Trek Voyager.
We're talking about recent swarm ships.
I don't think there's any more recent ones.
Just the 3.
Sure. Best. I can't go with any of the Guardians ones. Do I have to go with Star Trek Beyond?
To be fair, the Guardians one was really bad.
Well, the Guardians one is definitely...
We didn't kill all of these people. That was the scene.
The Guardians one was just they all linked together to form a shield. I'd
say that's my number 2. That's my middle one.
Okay, and you're going to say that the Star Trek Beyond ones are the worst, and the 2 ones are the best?
I haven't seen Star Trek Beyond.
Because of how they're defeated.
That was dumb. That was really dumb.
Oh, is that the rock music one?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
that was really dumb.
All right, I'll give you that one.
But I think that
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a close second.
How was the ones from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 better though? Like that, just that they weren't defeated with rock music.
I would say yeah. I'm gonna give them that one.
They were defeated by rock music, and then I don't know. Is the just like a video game deal of piloting
like a drone? I would say I view that as a minus because it's just an excuse to make it look like the Guardians aren't killing people. You know, so they can shoot music. They can shoot 1,000 ships and they can go, oh, I'm not a murderer.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes.
They were drones.
I would say yes, but then...
But rock music...
Because it became, like...
It was dumb.
Because it was an arcade, but not just drones for the sake... And just being drones, but the pilot made it as like a video game almost. I will give that enough to be the best out of all three.
How did they make it a video game again?
Because they were like, oh, you got to get a high score, you got to get them.
They said high score.
I don't think they might have said high score, but they all.
I thought it was just like they all credit around the last guy just because he was the last guy. I thought that was the whole thing.
I took it as like an arcade, and he's trying to be the very best.
I mean, it's his job. Yeah, he's trying to do good.
Wasn't that the species?
Also, they were pissed.
That species seemed very, very vanilla. Is the thing. Like, I don't think they would have understood the concept of competitiveness. Is the thing. Right?
I think you're reading into it way too much.
Yeah, it is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't think they thought that
I can't bring myself to vote for Guardians of the Galaxy on anything.
So what happens when they do the new Guardians of the Galaxy group with Stallone?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Are they doing that? I thought that was just like a one-off cameo thing.
I don't know.
Maybe they'll fight Thanos.
They're going to have a new team after the third Chris Pratt Guardians.
They're going to bring in the young blood, Sylvester Stallone.
The young blood, the original.
The new Guardians.
Because at the end of that, in that scene where they're all together, it's all like the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't know that they were going to do anything else with that. I thought it was just an Easter egg.
Oh, might not. I thought it was more.
It could have been. I don't know.
What do you think about Doctor Strange in it?
Unnecessary, but it was okay with it. Just he's not a bad character, you know.
It's fine.
So I was. He
looks the part.
Sure.
He basically can just show up and be himself, and it works.
You know, the magical gadgets are cool and stuff like that.
With magic and Asgard, that goes together better than a lot of other combinations.
I thought it was interesting how much better he was than Loki. Like, I felt like Loki got nerfed in this movie.
Loki got wrecked.
Everybody
hates him. That's why.
It's protagonist nerfing again because this was following his conversion to the light side.
Good.
Question mark.
Yeah.
And
good enough.
He got beaten up like 13 times in the movie by everybody.
Loki's still like not that powerful. He's the god of mischief.
But that was really only emphasized in this movie. In all previous movies, he was like a dangerous guy, not just a guy who could cast illusions.
By other powers, though, it wasn't.
It was just like by humans.
His staff,
he's always
by his humans, or like he had this.
That is true. He has the staff,
Tesseract staff, and all that other stuff. That really Yeah, his is just illusions, and then so it's the god of mischief or the sorcerer supreme.
Right. Which apparently he's already Sorcerer Supreme. Even though it did take place 4 years before Civil War or whatever.
Something like that.
The Doctor Strange movie.
Timeline is a bit wonky on that too.
Yeah. No one really knows.
Mm-hmm.
When does this one take place then? 2 years in the future?
2 years. What did they say?
2019.
It said 2 years after
Age of Ultron, which took place. I think they slid everything forward 2 years, didn't they?
So they might,
Yeah, because of the Spider-Man thing. I'm pretty sure they slid everything forward 2 years, or maybe 1 year. I don't remember.
I know Spider-Man's 1 year, isn't it? Forward.
It's 8 years after was
Iron Man
Avengers,
2,
right?
Oh no, yeah.
It's 8 years after Avengers.
Yeah, because that's what it says at the beginning, doesn't it? And that's what messed it all up.
Yeah, which they said years later.
Oh well.
Do we want to talk about Spider-Man, or should we go straight to Stranger Things?
I don't really have anything to say. I mean, Spider-Man is not really
Spider-Man
a thing anymore.
I know. It's a movie, right?
Too many gadgets. End of story.
Yeah. Too much like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things season 2.
Season 7.
Episode
7.
Wait, you haven't finished it?
No, I finished it, but episode 7.
Oh, episode 7 is the one you were talking about. Is that the one with the...
Don was defending that one, which surprised me.
I don't understand why people dislike that one. Like, I
It's
don't
not
like
very
her
good.
as a character.
It's so, like...
No,
it's...
8. Yeah. Like, she's not... But it makes sense in the logic of the universe.
It just, like, cut, like, the rest of the story, just stopped it. And it's
This is what I was saying earlier.
Yeah,
is that if the reason people dislike it is because it interrupted the climax. Mm-hmm. If it came at any other point during the story, if they just took a detour for that, people would have been fine with it.
But you can't do it 2 episodes away or 3.
But it's not.
3.
But you're not criticizing the story. You're just criticizing the fact that it happens to be in between. You're just criticizing the fact that they happen to put it in between.
I also thought it was a whole
those
episode
2 other
and
episodes.
didn't cut to anything else. Like, it was
Yeah.
the whole,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it.
But
as
it's
a whole
not.
episode
But
at
it's not
all.
the story.
No, it's the story.
How is it
it's
the story?
also
You're
the
only
story.
criticizing its position within the.
See,
within
I'm
the
surprised you're
larger
defending
I
this because
wouldn't
I figured
like
you wouldn't like it either.
See,
I don't like it. I don't like that it interrupted the climax.
Uh-huh.
I thought the story was
Uh-huh.
fine. How is the story not fine?
It felt
I think
underdeveloped, just like not interesting.
Even if I split it up, like in a bunch of episodes and like jump back to it, I would have got bored of it then.
I wouldn't have split it up. I would have just put it. I would have
earlier.
put it earlier on in the series.
I mean, I
Like
agree that would
5?
make it
Yeah,
better.
5 or
5 or
something.
6
Yeah,
instead of-
That would make
Instead
it
of
better,
in
but
between.
it's still
What's a
just
criticism of the story, not of the position?
the
Let's hear that.
motivations didn't make a lot of sense.
Of the other
Yeah, because
Hawkins
it's
people.
from what I understand,
Sure.
Kali, number 8, is the only
Her
person.
name is Kali?
Yeah, it's Kali,
Oh.
like the goddess.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was
'Cause she's
imagining
Indian.
Kali like the type of dog.
Cauliflower?
Yeah.
It's just short for cauliflower.
Right.
This is only me. This isn't be super racist, but I don't care. But as a little girl, she looked black, but then
She did kinda.
she looked Indian when she was older, and I was super confused when I watched.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to more relatable things. No, but I didn't. I guess I didn't really understand why they
cared
so
about
much.
assassinating people from Hawkins.
Yeah,
Because they weren't they weren't.
from
students.
what I understand, they
weren't
were
subjects.
not from Hawkins.
Sure.
They were just
That's legitimate.
punks.
That's the only problem you have with that episode.
Yeah, and I didn't. I felt like it was very the way. I'm fine with having 11 be like tempted to the dark side
Right.
because she's innocent enough. Like I'm fine with that, but I felt like it was done really, really quickly,
Mhm.
and it was like
The whole ending
was
of
the
the
most-
season felt rushed.
well,
Yes.
no, but yes, but even that, like her character development, I expected that to like take longer,
See, that's what I thought
like
when I was
Pinocchio
watching it.
kind of thing, where it's like
Is that-
it keeps getting worse, and then
Sure.
finally you go, okay, I can't do this anymore, and you step back.
But-
But hers was like they went, we need to do this, but we only have 1 episode to do it, so we're going to do this in the most in your face way possible.
Sure.
And the thing is,
Murder
they're probably
people.
They're probably gonna have to go back to her being to the dark, going back to her dark side.
Uh-huh.
I feel like they
That's a
can't though,
different-
because
I
I
know
mean
that's
they
the
already
thing is they
they already
can't.
tried murder, which is like the worst thing, and she was like not interested.
Sure.
I thought she was at least
They
going to
should-
kill one person and
They
then
should
like
have built it
back
up over
off,
like,
but.
a season or 2 of her turning to the dark side.
Or something. Even if it was just like a couple of episodes spread out or something, but it was like they wanted to have that arc and they didn't really want to take the time to do it, so they just did it really quickly and like kind of sloppily. I thought
Sure.
it was kind of fun to see like other powers and stuff, like that was fun.
I want
But
to know the other 10 powers or 9 powers are.
yes,
I do. I wonder if they're going to make that a thing. Like each season is going to have a different enhanced.
What would happen if they can't go
Person.
11 seasons though, unless someone?
Well,
well they're not going to, but
Yes.
I think it'd be a mistake to do more than.
I
one
think they'll
each
only do a
season,
couple. I'm going to assume a few of them died.
Yeah.
Probably. I always assumed that everyone, like 11, was the only one that survived.
Well, that's what I figured from the first season too. And when they introduced her, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But then they only show her, which I feel like is on purpose. But they can't. They gotta have like at least one more.
And it would be super easy to explain that away.
Oh yeah. Of course. I'm just saying.
They died as a baby.
Yeah.
Or they could be older. They could be younger, or whatever, and probably not younger, but probably older.
Well, between the two, because we have 9 and 10. Right? Yeah, just 9 and 10.
So they were in reverse order?
Well, the youngest has the highest number.
Sure.
What?
Wouldn't it be that? Like, because
they
one
were-
was the one that was born first.
They should label them in reverse.
I don't think this is how it works.
See, that's like the
Because they kidnap one baby, they name it 1,
Yes.
and then that one grows up and it's older than number 2.
Yes.
I still don't think like the numbering like is based on that though.
Well, I have no idea what the numbering is based on.
Fair enough.
Sure, that's a legitimate
But
criticism.
8 seemed older than.
Yeah,
She
I just
was
felt
way
like it
older,
was very cliche of them and sloppy
I
overall.
thought that
And the character of the punk character.
Yeah, they were very
was
exaggerated.
bad.
Like even like I get that it's a show, but it felt very quote unquote unrealistic. Even
I just don't
by
like
their
that. The
standards.
whole show is that's like that can't be, you know, it's not supposed to be a deep, you know, character study. It's supposed to be camp. So I didn't have a problem.
I disagree.
How?
I think that like most of the other characters seem.
Everything
fairly-
seems pretty well
fairly
grounded.
Plausible. The rest of the characters
How?
seem fairly plausible.
Everything
They're like
is an
Suicide
80s
Squad.
caricature. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's
the
still a
point
normal
of the
thing.
movie,
No.
or the
These
movie,
these
the
were
TV
like
series.
this is like introducing the Terminator. It was weird.
No, they're all caricatures of archetypal characters in 80s movies.
But they're all like people who could exist. I mean, obviously they're movie characters, but they're people who could exist reasonably.
I
The
think
punk
you're giving
people
it
are
too
a little
much
crazy.
credit.
I think you're giving the punks a little too much credit.
The whole
honestly.
thing is a caricature. I don't understand. You're giving it.
Well,
Listen, Hopper is not a realistic character.
I don't see why not.
A small town.
Like, I mean, it's a
sheriff.
movie, but
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
well, but you can say that about anything.
I do.
Okay,
I
you really don't think the
understand.
punks were a little over the top?
That was the point.
Yes, but I'd say
But is that a good thing?
in
No.
relation to the rest of the characters, they are much more over the top than the rest of the characters. Even though the rest of the characters are over the top.
Yeah. Is that a? I don't understand what the problem is with that.
It's
They're
weird.
at a different level of over the topness than the rest of the characters.
Okay, there's an imbalance.
Yes, there's an imbalance.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Anything else besides this one episode?
No, we're just gonna spend the entire time talking about the punk characters being exaggerated.
They were. It was.
Do you understand what punk? You don't understand what punk means.
Shut
to
up,
use
Don.
Punk. All right.
Eleven's arc. Her hair also.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't stick around.
I liked her better looking than Punk than when she was not Punk.
Really?
Yeah. When she had her curly hair, it was a little
Anyway,
worse.
moving on.
I thought it looked best when she was bald.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, yeah.
When she was short haired, yes, it looked best. But I liked her hair slicked back more than it was just like.
You like the Joker look? It
More
was
than
like
a
Joker
curly
from The
afro.
Dark Knight.
More than the
Ugh.
curly afro that she had.
Well, I mean, sure. No, not more than. It's not great, but it's.
I honestly
Anyway.
did not put this much thought
Yeah,
into
I was
her
gonna say.
hairstyle, so I have no
I really
comments.
liked Steve and Dustin. That was real good.
I like Steve. Steve's my favorite.
Yeah, he
Isn't
was
that
good this
great?
season.
Good character development.
He was good this season.
He's like,
And then Bob. Bob made me so sad.
it's rough.
I don't think I,
You knew that he couldn't make it out of there, but you wanted him to.
so bad. Like,
Yeah.
As soon as he volunteered himself, he knew he was done.
Yeah.
I was so sad.
Is there a
I
reason?
haven't been like that sad in a long time for a character to die.
What I thought was going to happen was because he can't be in any more seasons because he's a big actor.
He's not
So-
that big though.
But he's a name. He's a big name.
I mean, yeah.
He's not going to spend
I mean,
multiple
yeah.
seasons on a TV series. You know that he has to be. He's up after one, right? And so what I thought they were going to do is they were going to have him, kind of just tap out and be like, your life is too crazy. You never told me about this.
Nah.
But he didn't.
He was all for it. He was
Yeah.
in it for the long haul.
He was super cool with it. He had like one scene where he's like, "What's going on?" And the next scene he's like,
Yeah, in the
"Oh, it's a
hospital.
secret
He's just
government
like,
military
"This is weird. Why are we doing this?"
We're
And-
fighting aliens. I'm on board. Let's do this."
Yes.
Yep.
Why didn't the Demodogs evolve into full Demogorgons?
I don't know. I thought they were gonna like forever.
I
Yeah.
think it was too short of a time span. That's the only thing I
But are
can
they
think
different? But are they different species though?
I
It's
don't
like-
know.
can't-
I
can't-
thought the idea was that they were just Demogorgons.
I did too.
They might be a different species though, and that
Yeah,
is
like
just their
subspecies,
highest.
Yeah.
They probably should have said that.
No,
Well,
no,
would the characters be like, this seems to be a different species?
Well, they could have had a
Besides,
scientist.
They're
at
they're
Hawkins.
like studying it while it's eating their face. Yeah, it's eating Bob, and they're just like,
There are
interesting.
scientists in Hawkins.
Most of them were dead.
They have
at that
like a
point.
really bad like response.
Yeah, they do. It was really awful.
To-
The power shuts off.
Yeah.
Great.
How did that happen again?
That was part of their security protocol, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a security protocol.
Because it
Okay,
locks
yeah.
the doors and everything. Like, everything locks.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
right.
that seems like not a good idea. If there's a disaster where you have to go on lockdown, probably don't want the power to be off.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is that like the responses of surprise from the first season of like, oh, we have no idea what this is, we've never encountered this before, so we don't know how to react. That doesn't really work anymore because they've fought these things.
Well,
even like
who
Steve,
you?
who like was the last one to get in on it in the last season.
Yeah.
Was just like his whole attitude was like, I'm really sick of this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm too
To be
old
fair,
for
like
this
only
already.
3 people fought the.
But they rated
Demogorgon.
like the people at Hawkins have
But all of them
enough-
died.
All of them died?
Yeah, pretty much everybody from the original
It
team
sounds like
dies.
even the
Because
original
11 kills them all. She squeezes their brains.
11 kills them all, and then the ones who don't die, I think, get replaced.
They get-
it
they,
sounds
like,
It's
retire.
a completely new crew.
Yeah,
But
that was
implied
that's
that
why
they implied that the guy survived, the main guy.
Brenner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think
He has
did.
to, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They implied that he did.
That was. There's not really a lot of ways that he could have survived. It's going to be interesting to see the explanation if he does survive.
Right.
yes.
Because you straight up see him get eaten by the Demogorgon.
It was a
so,
hologram.
Yes.
About
He's
this-
like Loki.
It was a mental.
That's his
what it was.
ability because
Yeah.
he's Papa,
He
and so
experimented on himself.
he's number 1, and he can.
That okay. She pitched that. That's definitely gonna happen.
He's the father,
Yes.
the father of all mutants,
The shadow monster. You guys should think about
the
that.
Mind Flayer.
That was okay.
That was good. I originally thought it was gonna be like a physical thing.
I liked the way that it had like a double blind
Yeah,
with Will.
Yeah.
That was cool.
and like so they kept knocking him out. That because my favorite part of like all the Stranger Things is toward the end when they start getting like scrappy and they're like, we're gonna just put some nails in a bat, we're gonna set a trap.
Right.
And this one they like filled they were like, well, he can't know where he is.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty great. I like that. And they'll pitch in together and they make it happen, and then the phone rings.
I don't understand how he didn't realize where he was because they kept the poles, the 2 support poles, and if he could recognize where he was based on the sound of a telephone,
Yeah.
you would think he would be able to recognize 2 support.
I thought it was
pillars.
dumb just in the beginning. Like, why would you put him at your house? Wouldn't you go anywhere else?
Why didn't they put him in the place where 11 was staying? They took him there later.
That's
to-
what I
to
figured they were going
detox
to do
him
originally.
from-
When they like originally had the idea, I'm like, oh, they're going to go to the cabin.
Yeah.
And they didn't, which
You
is
would think.
which is fine. But
Oh well. Some road rage going on out there.
wacky.
I don't know. I thought the Mind Flayer was good.
I think it'll be more interesting later. But I thought like
I
the
feel
possession
it scaled
side
up
of it was
almost,
pretty
like, too
cool.
much
and-
though, like the monsters did. Like,
Mhm.
how are they gonna scale it up for the next few seasons?
Because
Get bigger and
they
bigger.
can't
Yeah.
make something that's a bigger baddie than this that uses miniature Mind Flayers
Yeah.
as like servants.
I also really like the part, which I know it's not like super original, but when it traps those guys in the tunnel, it's a trap.
Oh yeah.
Because Admiral Akbar, I always hear Admiral Akbar.
And then,
I did like that though. Like it's obviously not super original, but just with spying on them.
hmm Yeah, that was a good
Correct.
plot point. I like that.
they're gonna have to bring like the shadow, like a big monster into the physical world, though, like a Godzilla monster.
Well, and that's what
Uh-huh.
it was trying to do, and it didn't succeed.
Yeah.
So eventually, it will probably
Succeed
succeed
somehow.
because they have like that. Because in all the promo stuff, they have like that big red storm,
yeah,
and the storm never shows up in it, other than when Will is like
Seeing it.
seeing into the Upside Down. So eventually, that's probably like foreshadowing at some point.
But I always wanted, because they had the conspiracy theorist who kept talking about how 11 was Russian, or like that's what he thought
Yeah.
it was. I wanted them to do like a Cold War angle.
Yeah,
with it.
because that's kind of where they go in the original season.
Yeah,
They talk about
they kind of implied that it
commies
was
a lot.
Yeah, which is kind of a
Which
shame
they
that it takes
may.
place in '84 because it's Cold War winding down.
mm,
But I think that'd be pretty cool, like a pretty cool arc
like an
for
alternate timeline, maybe.
maybe an alternate timeline, but like not even
I don't know about
necessarily.
that,
If you just because if you could just have if the Soviets were going to do 2 things, infiltrating American
Copying other people's
and
stuff.
copying other tech, So if they infiltrated Hawkins' lab and tried to make their own version of 11 to open a portal to the Upside Down, and then they somehow they came to America or whatever.
Yeah. It'd be cool if they had like
agent,
a spy or something.
That would be cool, right?
Because I feel like with the organization changing, as many like most of them died again in Hawkins, so it's revolving so much that it would be easy to get someone in. Relatively unnoticed.
I do think it's weird how Hawkins lost its omnipotence and omniscience from the first season.
That's what bugged me a lot, was everything was so tied up.
Like good guys and bad guys. This is like
this was more like
there's no mysterious
fools
anymore,
and good guys. Just like
they need to introduce another. There was no cliffhanger. There was
not
nothing left unexplained really, other than
because they.
The
even
monster
11's
killed.
backstory, I didn't actually expect that to be her mother. I assumed that it would be, but I expected that to be farther down the road.
I didn't care about that subplot at all. I actually didn't want them to go into that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is it was right away they were just like, well, that's her mother.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, now there's no mystery, and that was
I
something that I really liked about the first season. Is there was so many like Hawkins was creepy and weird, and it's just not anymore. It's kind of lost the.
So there needs to be a new thing that takes over Hawkins, just actually mysterious, a higher power than Hawkins.
Yeah, maybe some organization steps in and is you guys screwed up twice, so just screw you.
And clearly they have a benefactor that's some sort of shadowy, suit organization.
And so maybe that's what has to happen or whatever.
But it's this season they didn't go to Upside Down hardly at all, besides Will's little bits.
I don't think they, not really ever, because the Upside Down was Hawkins. It was bleeding in.
Yeah, it was
they don't actually ever go there. Will can see into it.
Yeah,
well, that's the implication.
There are a couple guys that go there, a couple Hawkins.
Oh yeah,
techs go there.
Okay,
yeah,
sure. They go through the gate and replace a cell tower thing.
What was that for? To keep the Upside Down from spreading? Was that?
No, they burned to keep them spreading. They're
what was the
camera or whatever?
Monitoring.
They had monitors inside of it.
Okay.
And it would it goes out every now and again, so they have to go replace it.
Okay.
That didn't really go anywhere.
It was a probe, I guess, just to monitor what's going on.
Probing the Upside Down.
Right.
Pissing it off.
I always wondered where that exists.
Yeah, I want the Upside Down to be explained. I don't care if there's no more mystery and it ruins.
If there already is no more mystery, now I just want to understand the mechanics of it. Because they're on presumably the bottom floor, if not a subterranean level of Hawkins Labs, right? Yeah. When they're going through the portal.
Yeah, they always go down the elevator.
But there's access to sky in the Upside Down, and you can see the side of Hawkins' lab. Mm-hmm. So, and if it exists as a mirror, and all the other buildings exist in the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
So
quite a few of them do.
Yeah,
not all of them though. Some of them are destroyed.
The Upside Down or whatever.
But they all have analogs. Is the point?
Well, yeah.
So
yes, but is it I don't know. Is it supposed to be
Is it just supposed to
apocalyptic or like a separate time?
Possibly
the future kind of thing. No, I don't think it's the future though. I think it's just.
It's not. It can't. It can't be. It can't be.
It has to be it's somehow a dimension that I think it's linked to obviously the one, but I don't know how. I'm confused about. I think it's a different dimension.
I don't think that's not really a breakthrough.
No, it's not.
It's another dimension.
Alternate dimension. We've solved it.
You said the future, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
No,
right, but I don't know what else it would be. So that
if it was the future, that would explain the deterioration. Maybe
post-nuclear.
Oh, you could tie in the Cold War.
Yeah,
the commies
made
the commies made the Upside Down.
Yeah,
because and
then the U.S. just opened a portal to it.
Yeah, that's what happened. I don't know. I hope they go into that a little bit.
They will.
I feel like it's not
10-page essay.
It has to be I feel like the Upside Down must have been created recently because it has all the buildings.
Well, that's the thing.
Or do the buildings pop into existence when the real life buildings come into existence?
That's what I'm wondering.
Existed since the beginning of time. But then what about people?
Because there's not really people there.
No.
At all.
But there are living things and possibly multiple species now. So
right, and they can live outside of it too.
Yeah,
they can exist entirely. And that's the other weird thing is they talk about it being toxic. It's apparently not that toxic because Will just lives there for a week and a half, and he's
Maybe the
fine.
Maybe the normal world sucks the Demigorgon and Demidogs, and it's just slow.
Maybe.
But maybe that's the thing, though, is that that was why it comes for him, is because he's an acceptable host. He's immune to the toxin.
Sure.
And his immune system is able to prevent him from dying there, because everybody else dies that goes in there or is killed.
Yeah, that wasn't really a toxin.
Well, no, but why is he still alive? Why is he the only one? And that's something they didn't answer. Why he's the one that, because he says it wants him, which I'm assuming it's because he can be host for whatever reason. He's an eligible host for it.
Sure.
But
they never explained that. I kind of assume that was just because he had some sort of psychological link with I think it's more of like a background thing. Like it's a psychological toxin sort of, and he was psychologically inoculated to it, and also psychologically affected by it because of his prolonged stay. That's what I took it as. Sure. Because it's kind of like the E.T. thing too, because they were shocking. Or they were burning the Upside Down, and it was hurting Will. Mm-hmm. So that's what I thought it was. It was like the ET, brainwave link, sort of thing. Sure. So
I don't know.
And then there's that 11's black world or whatever it is.
I
don't know what that is.
Well, it's just I
thought that was
that's like scrying.
It is.
She's scrying because she can. It looks like she can only really see
one thing at a time now.
Like the things that the person is touching, basically, or like their immediate surroundings.
Yes. Right. So I'm wondering what that is too. And that must be separate from the Upside Down.
I don't know if that's.
I always just took that as like a stylistic thing. She's like,
I thought that was just in her
she's
mind.
clearing her mind, and so the blackness is just she's focusing on that one thing.
You thought it was just like a.
I thought it was just. I never thought that was a real dimension. I thought that was just like a representation of her telepathy.
Yeah.
Oh, I always.
Well, because especially I guess. In the newer one, not so much, but she always used water, and so the ground is covered in water because sensory deprivation tanks.
I pictured it as like some sort of astral projection where she kind of deal where she was in that, and that could be and then with that assumption, I always pictured it was like the between the Upside Down and this world, it was just this whatever divide. It's that would be what divided the two. Okay. So you see the Demigorgon there.
Right. I don't remember if she ever interacted. She can sort of talk to people, sort of.
But not really, though.
Does she ever physically interact with anything? Because that would lend credence to that.
No.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
and that's my counter argument is that it's just like the visual representation.
Right.
I mean, you could be right.
Could be.
The way I've always taken it is it's just the visual representation because she can never actually. Because the only time she talks to people is through electronics. So
I know her body is obviously still wherever it is, but it was projections I always visualize.
It could be. I never thought it was that. I thought it was just the telepathy thing because of the sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, because that's what it looks like. It's dark and there's water on the ground.
Communicate, and then they wouldn't always necessarily show that world either, though, or that black area,
Huh? Like what?
I'm trying to think now of examples. It doesn't seem like she always, when she used her powers, she always had to be in that.
I don't. Her telepathic powers, or her telekinetic powers.
Her telepathy.
Her telepathy.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Because she doesn't. Cause she communicates with Will and listens to Will through the ham radio in season 1, and it lights on fire, and she doesn't go there then.
How is that?
But I mean, that would still be in her mind, though.
Because she's listening to it, and they're like, "Will," they can hear Will needing help.
She focuses it,
right?
But I would still say that she could still be focusing in her mind.
So you're saying that's happening in her mind, and they're just not showing it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a physical place.
Oh, that's what I always assumed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought it was a special thing where
I just. What does she do special?
Weird thing to get. Well, that's the thing is she doesn't she can't interact with anything.
Yeah,
she just uses it as a way of seeing people and hearing them.
I thought that she was gonna fight the Demigorgon there because at the end of season 1, I thought that's how she was gonna have to kill the Demigorgon because he couldn't beat it physically, so you'd have to. Because I originally thought it was more like that, but she never did that. Mm-hmm. She never fought it psychically. Yeah. So I thought it was just a oh, this is not real. This is just what it looks like in her mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be though.
Weird thing to get hung up on, but yeah.
Makes for a good conversation though.
Yeah, just very specific. I didn't say it was bad.
It was just like an astral projection.
I guess we'll see.
Different strokes
Season
for different
3.
folks, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Overall, I thought it was pretty good. I think
And
the first season is better,
yeah.
but the first season's really good. So, and it's like you could just watch the first season by itself.
Yeah.
And it would be like a really great movie, a long movie.
It didn't even really require a sequel. I'm not upset that there's a sequel.
Yeah.
I'm upset at the notion that they could make it overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they
so
will,
far,
but that's definitely a possibility.
So far, it's still good.
Yeah.
So I'm not upset with it yet.
Yeah.
So, but it definitely seems like a very small scale story, and like you were talking about the like how a giant monster has to eventually come over into the real world.
Like that's got to be season 4.
It has
that's
to
gotta
happen,
be the finale,
but it seems so out of place in the Stranger Things universe, you know?
And I think they're building towards that already, though, with like going to Chicago and everything. Like they went to other places already. Now, granted, it was one character, but they're slowly like, I don't know, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I think they
Probably
could
going
do
to
it.
happen either way.
I think they could do it well. I mean, they have to have like a giant climax, right? Like, because where else do you go from there if you have a bunch of demo dogs
Yeah.
and a mind flayer?
There were too many, also.
There were a lot. How many were there?
Yeah,
Because it was
more
simultaneously
than
like.
Could be counted, really.
But was it always just the one pack that moved around, or were there multiple? Because I couldn't figure that out based on.
I don't.
Because they like get called back, and I couldn't tell if it was like the one pack, which would seem dumb. Why would
Because it was the one with Dart.
Right. Because I thought there were going to be 3.
And then there was
Because there were 3 Musketeers.
Yeah.
I thought that there was going to be Dart and 2 others, and that would have been enough.
Yeah.
Because there's no real need to have more than a few
Yeah.
demo dogs,
Well,
because they
don't
can't
really
kill one of them.
do anything.
Yeah. They're just extra. One of them is enough to kill basically anything, and only 11 can kill them. Really.
Well, I mean,
Who else?
to be fair, no one else really tried.
The only other people
Anytime
who
they
try
got close
kill
to
them,
it, they never like actually. Well, I guess. Oh yeah, I guess he does on the bus, doesn't he?
they try.
They hit a
They
few.
hit
of
him
them.
with a bat.
It
Why
doesn't really-
why is a nail through a bat more effective than a shotgun?
That's right, because Hopper shoots a couple of them
Yeah,
too.
and they just kind of shrug it
And
off.
and that was something I was trying to figure out is if like they're not really affected by bullets.
Well, that's the
like,
thing
at
is they're
all.
affected by fire, so why not? And they keep using like basically PDWs in really narrow spaces
Yeah.
where they can't hit them. They should have shotguns with incendiary
Yeah,
shells.
because you can, and also you have pushback too.
Yeah, that's what they should do. That's how you kill a
Listen,
Demodog.
also
and
not
Hopper,
super used to it.
Hopper had a shotgun when he went into the base, and in the next scene, it was on his back and he had an assault rifle. A shotgun would be way more useful.
yeah,
Right,
assault rifles
no.
look cooler. I think it's probably
Yeah.
Hollywood logic. The assault rifle looks.
But
cooler.
if you were
but
going,
in close
if you were
quarters,
fighting Demodogs,
shotguns.
yes, I would take
any
shotgun.
fighting like any monsters or anything like that in close quarters. You'd want a shotgun.
Yeah,
You wouldn't if you were, if there was somebody else with a gun, because then you have to be closer. But
sure.
yes, something that can't shoot back, shotgun all the way.
And especially something that's fast moving in tight
Yeah,
spaces.
Because you can just kind of
Spray and pray.
exactly. That's a very specific nitpick too, but yes, I agree.
Yes, because I just felt like the tactics were a little.
But also,
Little
it's a
weak.
sheriff, so
weak. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if tactics are like.
Yeah, sheriffs don't care about tactics.
Well, no. Like, but they make a point in the first season that like the scariest case they ever had was like.
Yeah, it's a small. It's a
Right,
Mayberry
so,
situation.
exactly.
They never have anything happen in there.
Except
So.
for like the last year.
Yeah.
And it got real rough.
About Billy.
That name still seems like weird to me because
Yeah.
I don't expect a bully to have a name like Billy.
He felt
Man,
all the new
mullet.
characters
The
except
mullet,
for
though.
Sean Astin felt unnecessary. Honestly,
Yeah.
like the bully and his sister.
Because
were-
Mad
there
Max
weren't
is
really
just
any
there
other
to kind of.
be-
She's the in the first season when they like get separated for like an episode and then they come back together because of 11. She's just the new version of that,
Yeah.
where they need to have like something to argue over.
And Billy is the new Steve because Steve is a good
because
guy
Steve
now.
became a good guy.
Yeah.
Which I did really like.
like
I thought that was really good.
Yeah. I like that too.
His quote or
yeah.
whatever, like I'm an awful boyfriend, but it turns out I'm actually a pretty good babysitter. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like him as a good guy too. I just think that it's the new guy. He was like the psycho bully from It.
Yeah.
You know, he was way too psycho.
Yeah.
He was a little,
For-
yeah, and like the weird racism too for
Yeah.
some
They didn't
reason.
use the N-word.
Yeah.
Bradley was hoping. Hoping and
I was
praying.
kind of like, I wanted to see if they'd go there. Like,
They won't
just
go
use
there.
it once, like at the very end.
It's rated like TV 14.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
Probably not.
I don't know what the rules are on the
He seemed
N word,
very
but
gay.
He did, didn't he?
yeah, that was weird too. Yeah,
Evidently wasn't though.
his dad called him a faggot, so there's that.
No, also in the 80s, they weren't as
It's
open.
sensitive.
That was also wasn't that like that was like a look for a while like that.
Yes.
As a straight male, that was a look.
That was
I think
a look.
the little earring thing. Ugh. And the mullet, man, the mullet is rough.
That was too much. I thought Steve
It
had
was
too much hair.
It was also greasy.
Steve has so
too.
much hair.
His mullet was
So much.
greasy.
Yeah, his was gross, but
It was like
That was all the
unwashed.
products he had in his beautiful mullet. It's
No,
his
no.
mane.
Well, I'm talking about Billy.
I know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Steve.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but no, I think it's just like it's
he
his
just
mane.
looked really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to punch him in the face, so
Yeah.
mission accomplished.
Like he did.
He didn't do much, and so I assume that they'll do
What
more
he
with
did
that.
though
But
was good for what he was supposed to do. He was weird and then
I guess. I didn't
Like-
think it was necessary at all.
probably
but
not, but as just like a normal high school.
It's
bully.
just. I guess it's just archetypal.
yeah,
for.
and then being just another
yes,
bully.
and I also think like I
it
said, I
seems
think
like
they're
they
setting
do more.
up both of those characters to do more later, but they're introducing him. They're like, here, we're getting the introductions out of the way. You kind of know who they are. That way, in the next season, they don't have to introduce
Better
two
not
new
add someone
characters.
new to the party.
Every season there's like 3 new people and
Yeah.
one of them dies.
Yep.
Because I don't want like, and then also Max being a Zoomer. I'm like,
What is that? Is that a reference to
no, it's
something?
not. I don't think.
Okay.
Like also the rest of them are all.
The point was
They're
no
all
one liked it.
classes
That
from
was the
D&D.
point.
So why can't they have like another class? Isn't there like 50 classes in
Yeah,
D&D?
there's no
But
shortage
no,
of
but that was her
classes.
joke. Is she didn't play D&D. She was like, "I'll be a Zoomer." It's
But,
like,
what does that come
Give
from?
her-
like out of
class.
context. Like,
I don't know.
well, they didn't give her a real one. They didn't play D&D with her.
They need to give her
It was
a
like
class.
it's like your girlfriend mocking you. Like, I'll be a Zoomer. Because they know it's not a real thing. Like, intentionally being
It just sounds
difficult.
dumb.
Exactly.
I know. I
But I think it's
understand.
supposed to sound dumb.
I understand.
Because,
It still sounds dumb.
well, I agree. But, but that was the point of it.
Sure.
Because you're supposed to go, oh, a Zoomer? Why would you ever call something that?
She seems like proud of it though, because like she drives the car
I
and
think
she's
she
like,
just like,
"See,
yeah, that went well.
Zoomer, whatever."
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Also, when Hopper went down into the tunnels,
Yeah, all by himself.
without telling anybody.
Hopper, have you ever seen a horror movie?
Sheriffs don't care about tactics.
No, see? Proof.
So, what would you give it out of 13?
Out of 13, 12 and a half.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
What about you?
Yeah, 12.
I'd give it 12. Yeah.
Yeah. I think all the negative things I've heard, like, it's not as good as the first season, but that was, like, out of left field really good.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely not
As
better
a
than the
sequel,
first season.
it was really good.
Sure.
I think,
It fits in the universe.
there was a few too many monsters.
They didn't
Because they did, like,
accelerate
the aliens thing. There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely a lot of parody. And they said that, like, they drew a lot of inspiration for season 2 from Aliens, which
Mhm.
makes perfect sense because there was a whole bunch of them. But there was enough original stuff that I feel like it was still its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jonathan this season.
You liked
I
him or
didn't
did?
think their
Oh, did
subplot-
not.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you did.
I thought you did. I thought you said did.
No,
too.
I thought their
I'd
relationship was going to be the doomed to never happen thing, thought
Which
that
I
was gonna
really
be-
respected about
Yeah, I
season
know.
1.
I
that
thought
they
it was going to
didn't
be
do
like
that,
there was going to be
but-
like this tension, but it was never ever. It was always going to be like a mutual understanding that it could never happen, and they were
Mhm.
just going to leave it at that. Especially when they introduced like the other, he like talks to the girl at the party. I was like, oh, she's going to show up later on. Samantha, I think it was her name. It's like at the party,
Yeah.
and so I was
Well,
like,
maybe still like they still have time.
yeah, but they did a thing,
They slept
and it's
together.
like,
Yes, they still
yes.
slept together. That doesn't mean they're gonna like end up together.
Yeah, but the point was that they weren't supposed to. Like that, like Don said, like that was the thing is they were avoiding that trope of like the tragic, the friend zone,
Right.
Like he left the friend zone. He's not supposed to leave the friend zone. He's supposed to stay
Wrong.
there
Feels
because they
wrong.
like had a good like friendship going. Like I liked that dynamic, and now that dynamic is weird.
Jonathan.
Yes.
He's also he's more responsible and more of an adult than Jonathan.
He
Yeah, because
wasn't made-
because like I remember like in the first season, it was like, Jonathan, what a nice guy. Steve's such a douchebag, and then, but now I'm like, Jonathan's kind of not great.
No.
He's just kind of like, I don't do anything. I'm antisocial.
They didn't give him anything to do this
And
season.
I think if they
whole
did, that would have
subplot was
helped. But like,
useless.
because in the first season, you're like, I don't really know about anything, so he's just default good. But
Right.
now, like, he just doesn't do anything.
Neither
I think
of
that's
them-
just the character. He just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, neither of them really contribute anything, and the only reason they
Nancy and Jonathan.
Nancy, not Jonathan, they don't never do anything for basically the whole season.
Yeah, this season especially, they have like their own. Because even in the first one, they at least do the cool thing where at the end they fight the Demogorgon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're gonna kill this thing, and then Steve shows up. And that was really good in the first season. But yeah, in this one, like their whole subplot is really just about justice for Barb. That was just to tie that up.
Which really seemed like fan service because
Oh, it was,
Barb
yeah.
was such a, for some reason, runaway like popular character.
I think they just want the good, responsible girl to
It's
die.
like
Just
yeah.
she was the
responsible
the
one.
Bob of the first season, where it was
Mm-hmm.
like they're just really innocent, really good, and they get a raw deal.
So now it's justice for Bob. It's
Exactly.
Justice
No,
for
it's
Bob.
Bob Newby, superhero.
Oh, that's right. Classic Bob.
That's sad.
It's so weird. He doesn't look like a Bob at all.
No.
He looks like a Sam. So I can't. I can't look at him and think of anything. I can't. He doesn't look like a Bob. I don't know.
Bob the Brain.
I don't know. It was good.
Bob.
Also,
Generally
him
good.
just, like I got it. Just like like the way he got like the map.
I
Yeah.
thought that was fair though, because
Well,
he's like
well, he's a nerdy
yeah.
enough,
Well,
like-
they point out that he likes brain teasers. That's why they're like, "Hey Bob, why don't you try to figure this out?"
Yeah.
Because they're like,
That's the
"Go away."
Like, that's that like.
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought that was good. Because like Don said earlier, the tunnels were a little bit like too much like the lights, but I still did like the tunnels, and I liked how Bob like plays a part. That was a way to get Bob into involved in like.
No, I liked him. I want more. I wish I want.
I want more Bob.
I want
Well,
more.
I got news, pal.
Yeah.
So not looking good.
Yeah.
Of course, if they bring Brenner back, then maybe there's hope for Bob.
That was a hologram of Bob on the ground. Oh, that's what he hacked into the system.
Yeah,
And
hacked
then
a hologram.
yeah,
They have
hacked a hologram
defense
into existence.
holograms. That's why he
And,
just sort of stands there.
Mhm.
It's,
They're gonna bring every character that died back for the final, like for the finale.
as Force Ghosts.
I
They're just
actually
like-
kind of legitimately thought that the way, like, somebody was gonna have to fight a zombie version of Barb. To get
I
out
was
of the
wondering
Upside
about that if they were
Down.
going to have like possessed, not even possessed, but like take over the bodies, like
Yeah.
neurologically.
How is that not possessed? If they're dead, you mean?
I was like supernatural possessed. I'm like differentiating.
Sure.
They would be controlling their bodies.
What?
Reanimated.
Yes,
Reanimated versus possessed. Because the body's.
sure.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Is are you trying to just differentiate between a dead body being possessed and a live body being possessed? Are you saying that
No.
you can't possess something if it's dead?
No, like it
Like
wouldn't be.
puppets.
Yes, it wouldn't be like the devil or like a demon. It wouldn't be like a demon possession from Supernatural. It would be like it can tie into your brain, like a parasite or something.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like those two things are different. One is like supernatural, and the other one is biological.
there's a very fine line between supernatural and biological in the show, though.
Well,
so-
yes. Yes, but they definitely tried to lean. They try to at least try to tie it into like
Shadow
biology.
monster.
The shadow
Yes.
monster's like that. Kind of
I told you they
It
tie
being-
that
It
in.
being,
How?
It being a shadow monster.
It's
opposed-
not though.
Huh?
When
Jordan thinks it's dust or something.
when Nancy and Jonathan are in the lab and he's like taking him around,
Yeah.
and he shows them. I think this is the same part. He shows them like the samples they took from
This was
the
not that
ground.
part, but-
was it a different part?
Yeah,
Okay.
Nancy
Anyway,
and Jonathan
the,
weren't there.
okay,
I'm pretty
the part
sure.
where maybe he's showing like Hopper or somebody.
I think he
he's
was
showing
just,
someone.
No, there's just a scientist, and he's like, "Hey, come into the room."
Okay, maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Anyway, that's not at all relevant.
Yeah, I don't know why
Sorry,
you're arguing about stuff like this.
Oh, they swirl the one thing. And
Yeah, they
Yeah,
swirl
yeah,
the
but it
thing.
swirls,
They all
What-
swirl.
what
and they
are
never
you
come
saying
back to
about
it.
this?
It's got to be related to the monster.
Are
though.
you saying that the shadow monster is made out of dust?
They're giving some sort of explanation for it. That's the only reason that scene would be in there.
So what are you saying?
So you're saying it's not the shadow, like
It's not a shadow.
What I
Yeah.
thought it was the spores, because they use that plant.
But they
that
very
infects you.
purposely show it,
What
and
if
they're
that's
all
spores?
moving.
That could be spores.
It's part of the hive mind.
It could be spores though that control.
What is it? Part of the? Is it the same thing that the monster?
It looks like the monster.
shadow monster.
If
And
you
they
want to
show
give it a biological explanation, then make it made out of spores. That would be the best
fine.
biological.
If it's sand instead of spores, fine.
How would the
But
sand
it's part of-
Just
transmit?
listen. Particles. I wasn't even saying sand. It looks like sand. So
Remember
I say sand.
the plant that? So remember that episode of Star Trek where
No.
Spock
Anyway,
gets shot by that flower?
but they
and
show
he
them all
goes
in
crazy?
sync, which it's still part of the
They
hive
have
mind.
a
It's still
flower
moving.
like that
I don't
in this
care.
one. You remember the flower
Yes.
in Stranger Things
Yes. Okay.
that
so
shoots people?
So it's part.
Yes.
Of, it's
What if it's
particles,
the
not
same
shadow.
particle? That
Yeah.
could be that. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's
It's a particle, not just like.
it's not a shadow.
Not
It's
shadow.
all I was going to that. All I was saying, it's not shadow. It's at
Right.
least partially explainable with quote unquote science.
I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
More than just like it's not just like a demon.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm glad we
This
settled that
this
question.
show wants to be like. It seems like it wants to be scientific.
Like to a
It's-
degree, yeah.
Yeah.
To, like explain itself.
Yeah, they haven't had anything that's outright
Except for those punk kids, am I right?
supernatural.
Yes, and so I want everything to be
Other than
explained.
the
Yeah.
powers, but you know.
Yeah.
But it's still like it's
Technically,
relatively
demons-
well grounded for
Yeah.
like
Yes.
a supernatural
Like-
thing.
Like so far, everything that's been in the two
An
seasons
attempt was made.
could be somehow like with funky like movie science explained with. Some,
Funky movie science.
Yes.
with it's not going to be demons and ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
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 Correct.
That's sort of the whole shtick.
Yes.
Is that you explain these things away as scientific oddities rather than supernatural phenomena.
Yes.
So,
Indeed.
all in all, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
We done?
unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
I feel like there was other things. The DVD case.
Oh, what was the thing? How long have we gone for?
Hour and 6 minutes.
Do we want to talk about Blade Runner?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, let's
Sorry,
talk
sorry.
about Blade
I
Runner.
need to-
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I
talk
need to
about
complain
the,
about the unskippableness
Oh,
of
that's
the DVD.
right. First of all, can we just say that the DVD for this season is
Yes,
the
Stranger
best
Things
packaging
is
that I've
fantastic.
ever seen.
It looks like a VHS case, and then when you pull it out, it's a VHS. It's great, super great.
And it even has
When
little
you-
scuff marks on it.
Yeah, it's got
great.
even like a price tag, like a faded
Uh-huh.
thrift sale price tag.
It's 10 out.
pretty great.
Perfect.
It's pretty
10.
cool.
Perfect
It's pretty
10
cool.
on that.
Worth the money.
Mhm.
But so the season is split into 2 discs, and the first disc has 2 4-minute long unskippable previews. You cannot fast forward them. Cannot go to a menu. Nothing. And I'm real upset about that.
Rough.
Second one doesn't, for whatever reason. Just
Ultimate.
all the trailers are on the first one.
The ultimate first
But
world
what if
problem.
one of them is the trailer for the second season? So what if you haven't seen the first one? You're like showing it to somebody, like close your eyes, shut off the TV, spoilers. Will's not dead. 11's not dead.
Yeah, they show Will in the trailer, don't they?
They show a bunch of stuff in
Yeah.
the trailer that, like, if you hadn't seen the first one, you'd be like, oh, well, now I don't have to watch it, which
Yeah.
you should, but.
And you were saying evidently that's a thing that other DVDs too do.
Yeah, apparently
These
that's a thing
days.
Netflix
Yeah,
does.
it's on Netflix DVDs that you said.
It's just dumb.
Because I Googled it thinking it was like somebody forgot to add like chapters or something.
They didn't
I don't
have
know how-
chapters on VHS
listen,
tapes.
There
That's
you go.
what it is. It's realism.
But they did have fast forwarding and rewinding, so maybe that's
Be kind, rewind.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was rough.
So now,
I remember always feeling like obligated to,
I was
like
always
you were a
guilted
bad
into
person.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know you're always a bad person if you didn't
Yeah.
rewind them.
bad on Blade Runner. Yes.
So yeah, don't make unskippable trailers because they're bad.
Everybody's like, Blade Runner, you guys want to talk about
I
Blade
haven't
Runner?
actually seen this.
Which is funny, yeah, I
I
haven't
don't
seen
care.
it.
I've heard Jordan complain about this because
I really don't like Blade Runner 2049, but I also don't really like the first one.
Right.
So, yep,
I haven't
Talk
seen
about
either
that.
in a long time.
nothing happens. It's 3 hours. It's 3 hours, right?
Yep.
It's like, isn't it over 3 hours? No,
Possibly.
maybe it was like right at 3
Yeah,
hours.
I think it was a little under. It was like 2 minutes.
It was
and
supposed to be
2
4
and
hours. It was
40
supposed to be
minutes.
2 2-hour movies.
How could
And
they
they condensed
possibly have?
I don't
fit-
know how you could draw that out.
Yeah, any more than they already did.
No, because nothing happens.
literally,
And like nothing
happens.
resolves either.
The characters are so one dimensional. The universe is like so flat.
And just dark and sad. Like, it's just depressing.
Also, again, I may have missed this because I did miss that line in Thor, but why? How did he figure out where was Harrison Ford hiding?
In a city with some giant naked women.
But
or actually,
what
I don't
was
think
that
they were naked.
place? Because they went to
Strippers.
the place. He had the
I
the
don't
item,
remember this
the
either,
artifact
but it's
examined.
possible that I was so bored to tears
Yeah,
at
that's
this
what
point.
I don't remember. Is
Yeah,
did I fall asleep?
No, that's right. Yeah, I do remember this.
He got
he
the
has the wooden
artifact
horse, and he has the guy examine it, and the guy's like, there's a specific type of radiation, because you were complaining that the
But
type
what
of
was the
radiation is not very
place?
strong. I don't think it matters. But then they're like, oh, there's only one place with that type of radiation.
Yeah, because they said it was tritium.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's actually not that radioactive, or it's
Right.
not that strong.
Right.
Which that was like their whole thing with the movie was like
But
it was really strong.
did they ever-
Which why would you live in a anyway?
Did they ever explain what that place was?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that's what I was
I
wondering.
really don't
it
think
seems
so.
Important. It seems a little
I don't-
important.
But that's the thing is nothing was important. I think that was the point of the movie is like nothing really matters, but some things do.
Maybe the whole thing is just a study in nihilism. I think that might be it.
I mean, probably that's the
it's
trend.
so much more intelligent than we realize. That's
I
the
did
thing.
like the part with like his robot wife, and then you find out later like she's not special at all. Like it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
I thought of all the things about that movie, that was the most interesting
See,
part when he's like standing there
the
and
best
he's like
idea-
ready to jump off the bridge, and it's just like she calls him by the nickname or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not special.
It's
She's
like a
just programmed to do
consumerism
that.
thing.
Yeah. It was just programmed to
The
make
best
him
idea
happy.
that movie had was making the main character a replicant, but they blew that in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't even. Yeah, the 15 minutes was like the first scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't. He like lands and gets his face thrown through a wall, and then it's like, oh well, he's a replicant.
Yeah. They could have really.
I thought they were
going to
be more subtle.
more subtly. You would
Not
think.
as subtle as like the first one where they just don't tell you, but like halfway maybe even
Mhm.
like somewhere along the line. I don't know. It was not good. And then they kick off the whole plot and everything. Right? Well, kick off the plot, but they have basically the entire plot in the first 5 minutes too, because they dig up the thing of bones. And It's like, oh, it was a replicant woman. She had a baby. Okay, and
Yeah.
roll credits.
10 out of 10. And 2 hours and 30 minutes later,
Yeah.
yep, that's what happens.
There was a child, and it had a bad immune system.
Do we speculate about Star Wars Episode 8?
Oh, that's
It's not gonna be
let's do
good.
that.
We just do that every time we podcast.
Yeah.
I have zero. I was a little bit excited for Force Awakens. I don't care about this movie at all.
No, I've given up on the,
I will watch
the
it.
new universe, the new timeline completely.
Yeah, I was like, because we were all really excited for the new Star Wars, the Force Awakens.
Well,
But
sort of.
we all.
Well, I mean, it was something to be excited about.
Sure.
Retroactively, we can say no, we weren't excited, but we all were
We
pretty
were.
excited to watch it.
At least
I mean, yes.
we were excited for something.
I was excited
new.
to watch it.
It was more about
Yes.
like it was like the nostalgia kind of thing, where it was
Right.
like everyone wanted to go and see this movie because it was the first Star Wars in a while.
Right.
Hindsight, but yeah, I'm not excited for this movie at all. I think they're gonna screw it up.
And then Rogue
I think
One
they're
was
gonna
just
get
like,
in the
so
weird,
why are we
like-
doing Rogue One? Maybe it'll be good. And then as soon as we saw Rogue One, everything.
Did
went
we
to
even
hell.
think Rogue One was gonna be good?
We were like it's unnecessary and it's.
I think we were
not gonna be
cautiously
great.
optimistic,
Yes.
which was
I don't want to.
Well,
be too much of a I told you so, but I told you so.
well, never
Oh.
done, never, and I told you so.
Anymore. Star Wars movies.
Rogue One was way. I don't know.
It's
Do you think
terrible.
Rogue One will still be worse than Last Jedi?
I would
Yes.
find it. Yeah, I would
I
find it
think so,
hard
too.
to make something worse than Rogue One.
Just less interesting. Like,
It was just
Eh.
boring. Like
Mm.
nothing happened until like. The
oh, but
very
it's so
end.
good.
And then-
The character development,
Yes.
non-existent.
My favorite Jerry, like Boss Jerry,
Yeah.
was like, I liked Rogue One, and I was like, name one character, and he goes, "You're right." And I was like, I walked away.
It's the exact same thing I say to people who say they like Blade Runner. Tell me the plot of Blade Runner. And I'm like, all right, I'm done.
There's a guy. He
He
says,
flies around a dark
seems
city
like
at
the kind
night
of
in
guy
rain.
who calls
Yeah.
black people.
The extended edition, or
Yeah.
the extended cut. The only thing I can think about when I'm watching Blade Runner is like, man, this universe must look so awkward when it's not raining at night.
Yeah, because it's always raining at night, no matter what. I don't know why you wouldn't just kill yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like the zombie apocalypse. It's just preferable alternative.
Anyways, back to Star Wars. I have a bit of speculation about this.
It's not
based
gonna be
on
good.
no. Well, it's not going to be good. But
to be good so bad.
the
Still, though.
I'd like for them to.
They're
pull
gonna
it
do
out.
like dark side, light side, gray mixing.
That's my theory.
Mind vomit.
That's my
Ugh.
theory. Because assuming this isn't a like a red herring, right? At
Which
the end
it
of the
could
trailer,
be. In which case, more power to them.
sure. At the end of the trailer, when
I don't think they're that
Rey's
smart.
like, I want someone to show me my place and all this, and then Kylo Ren extends his hand, and it's like, oh, she's gonna turn to the dark side or whatever. I think what that means is that Kylo Ren, because it seems like Kylo Ren is moving a little bit towards the light side, and Rey is moving a little towards the dark side. So they're both.
I've only seen the first trailer.
Oh, okay.
But it's maybe the second.
Are you doing that intentionally to
Yes,
avoid spoilers?
intentionally.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Then,
Yeah, he does this weird thing. He won't watch the trailers.
okay.
For Star Wars, because Mark Hamill said not to, so I'm gonna listen to Luke Skywalker.
Maybe
Yes,
that.
Father.
Yeah, maybe that means that there is actual. Maybe that means
Well,
that
that's
isn't a red herring.
because that would be. Well, I was gonna say that would mean it was a red herring. That was my. If Mark Hamill says not to, or the director said not to watch the new one too,
and then
which would imply to me, now again, could definitely be a red herring, but it implies to me that it's too spoilery.
That's
which
what I
would-
said.
yes,
I thought you were saying that was a
You
red
just-
herring.
I said that would imply it wasn't a red
you just
herring.
cut him off
Fair enough.
before you were not to really finish his statement.
Fair enough. Sometimes I just stop listening.
Yeah.
And then it's great.
Back in.
So, anyways, that would explain why Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end, because he just means that the Jedi adds a light side order, and then his philosophy is more towards the gray side of the Force, which was expanded
How to
upon
make Luke not a good character.
He might be a villain.
Done.
He really might be a villain. I think they might be going
that
down
would
that
probably be
road.
when Mark Hamill was like, I hate everything you've decided about this character.
Yes.
Because he was like the White Knight.
He was
He's a
supposed.
good guy.
The two options that they have are to make him an Obi-Wan kind of character who's passing the torch, or to make him a villain. And neither of those is really a good option.
Yeah, because they made him old.
Yeah.
He just shouldn't be old.
Because one way you're just making the First Order Strikes Back, or the First Order, First Order Strikes Back, or you're just basically ruining the redemption of Darth Vader, which was kind of an important moment in the Star Wars universe.
This universe, reading the books and stuff, this universe just seems so different from the rest of Star Wars.
Yeah, it really does. It's so much sadder.
Especially
this is
this
such
one.
a sad
Especially
universe.
this one. I thought Force Awakens was kind of sad.
It felt
Like Harrison Ford being an old single father.
It doesn't feel like you said. It doesn't seem Star Warsy.
It
The
doesn't.
music and stuff, and they try to create. It feels like someone.
It's
trying,
the
trying
Blade
to
Runner of Star
recreate
Wars.
but not really.
Not
succeeding.
understanding what it really means.
It's the Blade Runner
Yeah.
of Star Wars.
It's
It's
the
sad.
Blade
Even
Runner
the
of Star Wars.
prequels feel Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is people criticize the prequels, but they at least, for all
Those
their
were at
faults,
least original. It had
they felt
original
like Star
designs
Wars.
for stuff.
they felt like Star Wars.
Here's a question I thought, because I thought about this before. What if it just feels like Star Wars because we grew up with that, and we're not old, cynical people?
I think it's just. I think it's just bad.
I choose to believe that the new sequel trilogy is just
the
not
Thrawn trilogy
very
feels like Star
original.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
And I
guys
read
didn't
that
grow up
more
with
recently,
that, and that
yeah.
feels like Star Wars
And
to you.
it
So-
feels like a natural extension of, and again, obviously, age restrictions, they couldn't do that now, but it feels like a very natural progression of the movies. It feels like those could have been movies.
Mhm. Those should have been movies.
Yeah,
the real sequel trilogy.
Yeah, those could have very easily been movies.
Because they
Word
were
for word.
they were original enough.
Yeah,
To-
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
But they were still familiar.
yes, familiar and yet original enough to not just copy.
And that's the thing
elements.
Disney
what
has
happened
never
if
been
it's,
able to get right.
Double red herring, where they're saying the director and Mark Hamill are saying it.
Double red hair.
Double
Ha.
red- ha, ha.
Jokes on you.
To not watch it, even though everything in it
And none of
is
it, nothing that's in the trailer is in the movie.
very
Oh,
little, or it's completely twisted
Like those
on
scenes
its
are
head.
completely opposite.
interesting.
Or it's
That would be
is it-
pretty funny for a movie to do that. I would give them props, just for that, if they did that. If they had everybody fooled.
So
'Cause
for lying to your audience.
I just don't think they're smart enough, or
I just don't
plays
think
it-
Disney would
enough.
let
Disney
them.
plays it too safe.
Yeah, that's the
Especially-
problem.
well, that's
Star
and that's the thing
Wars.
is
Star Wars, but they've lost so many directors for trying to
Yeah.
cut, paint by numbers with Star Wars.
Mm.
everyone's like, let me direct
And that's
Star
why
Wars.
I
They're
feel
no, direct my Star Wars.
I sort of feel like this one is going to make or break the sequel trilogy and the rest of the Disney.
Because the first one was so
universe.
vanilla that it
Yeah.
didn't really matter.
Star Wars, yeah, you mean Star Wars.
The Disney Star Wars cinematic universe. This next one will make or break it because
I think
they'll
it's gonna
either
make so much
fumble.
money either way, though.
It's gonna make money, but fans are not going to like it, or they're going to like it or they're not, and that's going to be determined on its originality. If it's too much like Empire Strikes Back, people are gonna pan it.
And so far, it looks just like Empire
And
Strikes
it
Back.
does look really similar.
We haven't
and,
seen Cloud City, but
and
other
they're
than
also
that-
going to the other extreme is that they're going to do something really dumb, like make Luke a villain. You know. And that's also, I feel like as much as people would say, "Oh, I like originality," they're not going to like that.
Yeah.
You know.
No, and I would hope they wouldn't because
Yeah.
it's bad. It's not
Oh,
good.
Luke can't be bad. Just do Lil Luke.
They can't make Rey bad either because everybody was
Can
like,
they
"Oh
not?
my gosh, Rey is so amazing."
It's probably because she's a woman. She's a strong, empowered woman. They're never bad.
Female man.
Yeah.
Like Kylo Ren can be evil. He's fine. I could totally see him coming back to lightsaber. Not that I necessarily agree with it, but
I think like
he's such a
back
like
when
a
we were-
chump.
Back when we were speculating about and planning our own, when we were planning our own episode 8.
Yeah.
And also,
to
where's
build-
Lando?
to build off of it? Like I would have liked to see them like especially Kylo Ren come to the good side and potentially have Rey become evil and have it like flip in this.
That's
movie.
what most people were speculating. There's like a lot of fan art of like Jedi Kylo Ren with a green crossguard lightsaber and like Darkseid Rey with like a double-bladed red saber.
Yeah.
But
I'd be alright with that.
I'd be alright with it. It just seems like what has that accomplished?
Nothing.
These characters are we now have the
It's
exact
not an
same
arc,
number of
it's
characters
just-
on each side,
Exactly.
and the arcs are like super cliche.
Also, it would sort of imply that neither side is very good because
Right.
if you can just like switch on a
At
dime, like
I
you're not
just-
really fighting for anything.
it just really seems like what they're going for is like anti-establishment.
In the mid-
Like
they seem
I
like to
serve
be-
the Force, like the guy from Rogue One, because he wasn't a Jedi,
Yeah.
and he didn't even specifically serve the light side.
Yeah.
He's just served the Force, and that's what they're tying into with Rebels too. Like they have that character, the Bendu, who's like
Ugh.
not specifically a light side of the Force guy, you know.
Yeah, and you've watched more of that stuff, but that's
Yeah, that's
and
what
it's
the new,
all
as far as I
terrible.
understand the
Well-
new canon, it's just like the Jedi aren't necessarily. Well, the Jedi weren't always that great, but
Mm-hmm. And in the EU, they were always the good guys.
Yeah.
That was always the orthodox view was the light side of the Force, and I feel like they're getting away from that in
And
the
that's
new
like-
canon.
yeah, they're like the Jedi were the good guys, but they also were very wrong.
Mhm.
And it's like the gray Jedi path is what's right.
Yeah, that's what I feel like they're getting
Using
to
both-
in the new canon.
Yes, but didn't Luke in like the Sand Universe use like dark side or like was more lax on that than the original Jedi?
I mean, he teamed up with. You might be thinking of when he teamed up with the Sith to fight Abeloth. Is that what you're
Which-
thinking of?
But like he
Understandable.
also like he allowed marriage and he wasn't as strict. He allowed marriage and some other things, didn't he?
He allowed marriage, but that's not like a dark side
No, no,
thing.
no.
Because he met a woman.
Yes.
I'm saying he was
Bend the
he was
rules
not
a
as
bit.
strict as the original Jedi.
Right, because it basically because those things weren't essential.
Yes.
You know, but he never
There
was
also
like,
was one
oh,
Jedi,
we're not
so-
following.
Yeah.
He was never like, we're not following the light side anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he
think
did
that's-
make
yeah.
changes, and he was more. He wasn't as strict, and like he allowed Padawans who weren't infants. You
But
know?
those were more like pedantic.
Yes.
Yeah, and also like that was sort of out of necessity too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what
So
I.
yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah, there's him and Leia, right? Where
Mhm.
the,
That's also another thing that's dumb about.
yeah,
the
no,
new
isn't it funny
universe.
that they took like a strong female character from the EU and they're like, nah, it's not going to do anything.
Literally.
She's going to be a
all-
general.
Yeah, she never develops her Force powers.
Apparently,
She
at all.
she never even gets a lightsaber. Like
It sounded like that she started to, but then just gave up on it.
Why would
Such
you
a-
do that?
such a sad
if
universe.
you could be a Jedi,
Such a
if you
sad
could, if
little
you could
universe.
move stuff with your mind, I feel like you would do
It's
that
like-
with your midi chlorians. Sorry,
it's too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
but like, why would you not to develop? You'd start developing. You're like, nah, that's not for
I'd
me.
much rather have midi-chlorians than where this this sequel trilogy could be
Fair
going.
enough. Fair enough. I've always just sort of ignored them.
I have two, yeah.
I never really had really strong feelings.
They never bothered me very
Yeah.
much.
I just
I
always
guess it's just
forget
because I
they
grew up on
exist.
Star Trek too, and so like scientific quote unquote explanations never really bothered me for stuff. I get why people have a problem with it, but I never really had a problem with it.
Because like the Force still is connected to everybody. It's just like a stronger connection. That's what it symbolizes, correct?
Yeah. Well, it's that you can. It's connected to living things, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
It's there are different. So the two levels are, you are Force sensitive, and then there's like Force aligned.
Yeah.
And if you're Force aligned, you are just.
Isn't it Force attuned or something?
It might be attuned.
Yeah.
Attunement is,
I've heard it both ways.
But I was gonna say I feel like you would know.
Yeah,
so
I've heard it both
I
ways.
defer to your.
There, like Han was
Yeah.
Force aligned / attuned.
Yeah.
There was a random Star Destroyer bridge officer who was also on that list for some reason.
What? All right.
Because
Yeah.
it's like a comic that they had of him.
Yeah, it's like,
Comics and nonsense.
there is some really really wacky fun stuff like that. Like there was a Force sensitive droid
That's weird.
in the EU. It didn't.
You know what?
Didn't.
Let's just pretend we never
That
heard
one
that.
is of dubious canon. A dubious canonical status. It was the R5D4, the one who Luke buys originally, and it blows the top of his head off.
That was supposed to be Force sensitive?
In the comic, it did that intentionally
Oh my
so
gosh.
that R2 could
What?
meet up with Luke and
Kill me.
Yeah, it was
Comics
really
are
dumb.
stupid.
It
I
was
hate
real
them. Han Solo movie. Good or great?
It's gonna. I feel just bad for the guy.
Yes.
It's just more,
I don't.
yeah.
Ron Howard's kind of a weirdo. So.
Well, I meant the guy. The guy's playing.
Oh
Han.
yeah.
guy-
Alden Einrich? Is that his
Alden
name?
Ehrenreich
Something like
or
that.
something.
The Third Reich?
Yes.
That guy. Because no matter how good he does,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't
He's not
matter. He
Harrison
won't be
Ford.
Han. Yeah, he won't be Harrison Ford. And people, even people who like the Disney canon are gonna say stuff. They're gonna be like, "This isn't the same. This isn't
Oh, yeah.
good."
It's just a dumb move. And also, why do we need a movie about Han's origin?
Yeah.
Some would say that I don't really care.
Do you think it's gonna end with? I don't think they can resist having it end in the cantina.
But they can't have it. They're not going to recast everybody, are they? Like recast
No.
Kenobi and
No.
you're
just
saying before.
But it's
It would just be in the
last
he'd
shot of
sit
the
down
movie.
with Greedo.
Yeah, he sits down, and then he Chewie goes over to the bar because somebody wants to talk. That's the last shot of the movie. I don't think they can resist doing that, even though it doesn't make much sense.
And like you're saying with the vest.
Doesn't they have to
Yeah,
stretch
with
it
the
out?
vest.
They have to stretch it out so far. It's not like it's being like super young.
Well, maybe they do a. That's the thing is, are they? They have to do a young, like teenager Han Solo or something, and he has to be an orphan
Yeah,
because would be lame if
can't
he
have
wasn't.
parents.
Yeah,
Which, to be fair, that kind of makes sense.
sure. I mean, he was an orphan in the
again,
EU too.
Again, I don't
But-
care about his backstory though. Like I don't
You
feel
never
like we need
needed
a
to
movie.
know.
Exactly. I don't feel like we need a movie explaining the backstory of a smuggler. Like he's a great character. I love him. I love Han, but I don't think we need to know. I feel like part of the fun is that it's just like, well, you get it. Everyone just sort of inherently knows his backstory, if that makes sense. Like,
And the more detail that you know, the less. It's like when you know
yeah.
about Boba Fett.
Yes.
You don't really. The coolness of Boba Fett is in the potential.
yes.
The potential of things that he could
and he
do.
falls in a Sarlacc pit.
And then he immediately dies, yeah, or quote unquote.
Yeah, listen here
Do you
now,
think
bud.
he dies in the new canon? Do you think that he's going to come
Probably.
back?
I heard something about him coming back, but rumors.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to do that.
He doesn't die.
They're going to do that.
He doesn't die.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, that's like the one I'm most interested out of all.
Only because Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, only
That's
because
like
of
the
Ewan
only
Mc-
reason because I think he's a great Kenobi.
Because they're gonna butcher the story.
I don't know what you can do though between that time because he's supposed to be in hiding.
See, I would like a Marvel one-shot style of that era.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you make a whole movie of that. Because they've already done the most interesting concept, which is Darth Maul, fighting Darth Maul.
Ugh.
And they ruined that with Rebels. There was a cool comic called Blood Ties, I think, from the EU. Actually, that was non-canon. But which originally had a cyborg-legged Darth Maul fighting
Which
Obi-Wan on Tatooine.
I have strong feelings about the cyborg legs.
But like, what else? The other things you could do, like what? Fight a crime lord.
well, yeah, that's the thing
something.
is like
Fight a.
he's in hiding.
He could fight
so he has to be
Asha
forced to
Red
come
Het.
out of hiding.
That's the
for
only
something.
other thing he
That'd
could
be-
do, which would be cool. But that's like a one shot.
But super forced because they would have to set up all the backstory and everything for that since they made everything non-canon.
Sure. And he never really goes on to do anything else because they made that non-canon too. So.
Yeah.
Because that would be a cool idea, but I just really don't
He
know
fights
how you
great
fill
dragons.
2.5
That's the whole
hours
movie.
with that. Yeah.
He's like hunting them down, whistling for them,
and
and
he
then killing
barbecues
them.
it over his spit.
Real slow. Actually, he just sort of like runs the lightsaber over it a
Oh.
few times. Kind of gets it nice and brown.
It's efficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you can cut it up too.
It's filleted dragon.
Filet mignon. I don't know how you make a movie exclusively. He has to go like to like a lost world or whatever where he can't be found or something. Like he can't just fight a crime boss.
But if he goes somewhere else, then he's derelict in his duty of protecting
True.
Luke.
True.
He can't leave Tatooine.
So I don't. Yeah, and I don't want to see another movie in Tatooine. It's been in like every movie.
Hasn't been in Force Awakens. Because that wasn't Tatooine,
Yeah,
remember, guys?
Hashtag not Tatooine. My point is, a lot of desert in Star Wars, which is fine, but let's maybe not.
Get a different locale.
Even Rogue One had a desert planet. They cannot get away from desert planets, can they?
Nope.
That's all there is.
You could kind of consider the planet from Last Jedi as a desert planet, too. The white one. It's called Crete.
Yeah, I like the little we've seen, but yeah, I would consider that desert. It's dusty and it's like a mining.
It's a mining planet with the story is that it has an old rebel base
I don't
on
care.
it. Yeah.
I've died of boredom as soon as you started talking about it.
I just don't understand
An old rebel
how
base.
the Force.
Do they have to evacuate?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they do actually.
You did already tell me
Yeah.
that, but my point stands.
I don't understand how the First Order still exists. The only reason they gave it a pass in Force Awakens is because
Nobody believed
the New
them.
Republic
They were like the
didn't
crazy
consider
little
it a
kids.
threat, right? But then they blow up five or six of your planets. At that point, do you not wipe them off the map?
I raised you 4 more planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd think they'd go, oh, well, they do say, like, their navy got destroyed. Like, why was your navy, like, all concentrated
Yeah, you wouldn't
right
put
there?
it all on one planet. That's dumb.
Just in general, you'd think it would just be, like, all about settling the new republic, right? Like, they'd be...
30 years.
Yeah,
But
you
they'd
don't
be,
just
like, expanding and
concentrate.
protecting, like, all the new... They wouldn't have it all concentrated in one area.
So we talk about how dumb the ship designs in Last Jedi look. Like, really dumb.
bad.
Yeah.
There's the...
That's what I said, like, at least Clone Wars had good designs for ships.
Yeah. Like, they've created now 2 Super Star Destroyers. Because one, they had to one-up
The one with
Empire.
the little bit hanging from the bottom?
Yeah, the
Looks
Manticore
real
4
weird.
class.
And
then
the-
there's
the Mega Caliber 6.
The Mega Caliber 6 walkers, yes. What was the other... Oh, that's the other Super Star Destroyer. It's just called the Mega class.
That's right.
The
yeah.
Mega class
Boy.
Super Star Destroyer. Creative.
Took them a while to figure that one
Yeah.
out.
And
They're
it's
like, hey, they haven't done this one yet. Yeah, there was a
It's
reason
like
for that.
3 times as long, or it's wide, I guess, because it's like a flying wing, but it's 3 times as long down that axis as an Executor class.
Yeah.
Like, just screw
Forget
everything.
double.
Just like,
Listen, we
yeah.
this is a movie. We
It's
can do
bigger
whatever we
and
want.
better, and therefore,
It's got
profit.
a dangly cannon.
The dangly cannon.
I don't like the
Also, the
dangly
rebel
cannon.
ships. There's the those bombers,
Yeah.
which are maybe capital ships and maybe not.
It's like somewhere
I don't know
between the
yet.
two.
Yeah. The resistance bombers. I just don't like the ship designs very much. Not very good.
Yeah. Not good.
This is what I try to avoid. Star Wars said, no, I'm not gonna... Everything I hear about it makes me sad.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to try to be...
Did you know there's a character, an admiral? Do you want to know? Should I spoil it for you? Okay.
If it's like...
It's not. I mean, I don't know how much this could possibly spoil. There's a admiral in the Resistance named like Holdo or something, who has dyed pink hair and believes in astrology.
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, yep. Astrology is now canon within.
What?
And apparently, test
What?
audiences compared her to Luna Lovegood.
Oh, it's a woman?
Yes.
I just assumed it was a man.
Here,
I don't
I'll
know
find
why.
you a picture.
Please do.
Use the bad-
Make as much
We gotta-
noise as possible. Were you really watching Big Mouth?
What is it
Big
called?
Mouth.
Oh yeah.
That Netflix show.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, look at this. 10 out of 10.
This is a real thing.
This is real. Look at this. She's an admiral. This is what admirals look like, by the way.
Akbar would not approve.
Why does your computer not scroll? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Admiral.
That's terrible.
She kind of looks like Mon Mothma, but awful.
But an admiral, and Mon
no,
Mothma wasn't an
I'm
admiral.
not disagreeing with you. Wait, scroll down a little
Look
bit.
at this. Haldo also enjoyed studying astrology, and she was knowledgeable of the galaxies. She had a quirky personality,
Oh my
often getting
gosh.
distracted, speaking in metaphors with a monotone voice, and being eccentric.
This is literally someone from Harry Potter. This is one of the professors from Harry Potter.
How does isn't astrology all about like the alignment of the stars and stuff?
Yeah.
It's made up.
How does that work in a galaxy?
Yeah,
where you're on
astrology changes based on the planet.
That can't possibly.
I don't think they thought that far, Bradley.
Yes.
Yeah, look at this. Holdo's appearance in Leia, Prince of Alderaan, was received positively, with some readers comparing her to the character Luna Lovegood from
That's
Harry Potter.
rude, because Luna's not that awful.
But now the worst part is that there's an official Wikipedia article for,
For
astrology.
astrology. Perfect.
Rough.
Could influence. How does that work?
It's like the Force.
I'm telling you, the more that you learn about this new timeline,
I did not know
the worse
this, I'm
that
sorry.
it gets. The worse that it gets.
Terrible.
Astrology is
That's
canon
really
in
bad.
Wikipedia.
Yep. I found out about this because there's a Lego of her, and I was like, "Who
Of
has
course.
pink
Wait, so
hair?
she's like a main enough
Apparently,
character that
because
there's a
she's
Lego
in
of her?
She's in the.
Maybe Bradley's approach is not a bad idea.
This is
Bomberf?
this made me
Bomber.
A Lego Bomberf.
Yeah, look at this. She's in this set.
Oh,
See her
I can
there.
see clearly.
There it is.
Yep.
I'm sad.
See, look, there she is.
Oh.
I'm really sad.
10 out of 10. But what's this?
Save me from my
That's
nightmares.
new.
Hey, that's cool.
That's new. I've never
That's
seen
not
that one before.
okay. Yeah,
New TIE Bomber.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm so glad that everybody listening to the podcast
Yeah.
is just
Looking
watching.
at
It's a
Lego
podcast of
sets.
us just browsing the internet now.
Should we like stop as we don't browse? For
Okay, watch Star Wars or whatever. See you later.